A very warm welcome to you, my viewers. Karibuni sana. It's yet another Tuesday afternoon, and I'm very happy that you are able to tune in to our show. This is the Marriage Corner Show, and I'm, as always, your host, Viona Gebenji. On today's episode, I want us to welcome our guests who will be taking us through their love journey, how they met, their wedding, their children, their journey as best as told by them. And so allow me to welcome them, to tell us their name, and anything else you'd like us to know about you. Karibuni sana.
Okay, thank you very much, Viona. We are happy and thank you for having us, and for the viewers we are really happy to be in the show. We've been looking forward to this. My name is Matthew Mugo, and married to this beautiful lady. She's Maggie Mugo, and we are married for 10 years, actually 10 plus. Maybe a little bit about myself. I am a finance professional. That's what I do. Though I have a training background in education and psychology. Yeah, and maybe an extra one thing, I'm very, very passionate about youths and mentorship. I don't know if there's anything else you want to hear at this point about me?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
For now.
Okay.
We'll get back to you in a minute. Karibu, Maggie.
Thank you so much. My name's Maggie Mugo. Yes, and I'm born again, and I'm married to Matthew here, and born and raised in Nyahururu, and I've also done a BA in community development, but that is not exactly what I'm doing currently. Currently, I run a business, and I thank God for the far that He's brought us. It's been quite a journey, but we thank God because He's seen us through and He will see us through. Yes, we thank Him.
Amen. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that, Maggie. Back to you, Matthew, now. Tell us a bit about where you grew up and how you grew up, and what were your dreams? Did you always want to be in B.Ed or in youth mentorship? What was life like before you even met Maggie?
Well, that's taking me back so many years. I grew up, or I was born in Kirinyaga County in central Kenya, and a fourth born in a family of 6 children. We have a girl ending, so the boys tuko hapo katikati. And growing up, I think I just led a normal life like any other, boy, and especially having, come from a village. I mean, our ambition, we didn't have a lot to think about or to care about. It was just, just have fun, enjoy. But I liked books. I like reading, and thank God I got myself into the university. Then, finally after graduating, I got my, a job here in Nairobi. And shortly after that, then of course there is the issue of a love story where it began. I definitely will be coming to that. But generally to answer the question about your my background, that's how I started. Maybe around my career. Interestingly, I'm this guy who never knew exactly what I wanted to be.
Okay.
All along, yeah. I can't remember a time when I was so clear on what exactly I wanted to be, but I was so clear I wanted to go to the university. Especially I used to have a close family member who really used to encourage me. We did not grow in an area where many people had gone to the university. Actually in the village, maybe you could be told, there's that neighbor over there. And maybe there is just one person. So, but I liked the whole idea. But exactly what I wanted to do, not so clear on that. Nonetheless, when I was, we were doing selection for university courses, I went for, BCom. I really had a liking, for business related, degree. Yeah, but as fate would have it, you know our university systems. If you don't score very well, especially those days, I got a B plus, but I think it was not good enough to land me the BCom that I wanted. So I was lumped together with others and put in education. So I found myself doing education. Yeah, but when I heard there was an opportunity to take counseling, psychology, you know, you do one teaching subject and then teach psychology. I was so excited about that. I said, that's my thing. I think that's the point at which I got to kind of connect with something I liked. And I tell you, the 4 years in the university, I liked doing, especially the guidance and counseling part. So I did education, mathematics. I'm a teacher of maths, and guidance and counseling. Interesting. I can only teach one subject.
Okay.
Although I've never taught.
Okay.
And finally, when I came to work life, I found myself to where my initial passion. I told you I had business, commerce. I wanted to do BCom. My first job I landed in finance sector, and the rest is history. That's what I've been.
Oh.
Yeah, I've just been in the finance sector. I've worked in banks, and currently I'm working with in a company here in Nairobi. I'll not name it, but yes, I'm in the finance section. Yeah, so that's all I know, and that's what I do. But on the side, I told you about the youth mentorship. So the counseling applies off job, but during the day, I do finance stuff.
Okay, wow, okay. Inaitwa mambo ya Mungu.
Mambo ya Mungu kweli.
If it's in you, somehow it will manifest.
God has a way of connecting you to your destiny in a way that you don't even know.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Matthew, for that. Maggie, you told us you grew up in Nyahururu.
Yes,
What did you want to be? When I grew up, I want to be. What was it for you?
Okay, I think me, what really I would say, I really wanted to work with, I would say NGOs. Yes, because I think in me there used to be, or there still is, that heart of being compassionate to other people and wanting to be kind, and especially to helping the poor. And I would say that is what really made me go and do a BA in community development from Daystar University. And apart from that, when I was growing up, I knew how to make hair. And I started making hair when I was, I think, in class 5 or so, where, in primary school, during your break time, you would rush and go and start doing some grass. And you look like you're plaiting them. And I think that's where my passion began. I also have a passion to plaiting, which is what I'm currently doing. I run a barber shop and a salon. But I would say my career journey, when I went to Daystar, before then I had come to Nairobi, and through the church I was going to, I started helping the people living with HIV and AIDS. And I was working in a slum called Kiambu. And I've really worked in slums. I worked for quite some time. So I think the whole of my campus life, I used to come over the weekend. And I would go do home-based care with quite some organizations I was volunteering. And then after I graduated, I got a job with a company that used to work in Mathare slums. And I worked there for not so many years. I think it was quite about 2 years. Then after that, in the process of looking for greener pastures, I got a job with a corporate organization, which I will not also mention. But I worked with that organization for quite some time, for about 7 years. I was working as a customer care. And after that, that is now when I now went back to the passion I had. After now I stopped working with them. I started a business. We started a business as a family. So I ran a barber shop and a salon. So that has been my journey. Yes, that is what I would say. But I would also add and say that just as you said, I was also born in a family of 7 children. But I was the 6th born. I was the second last. And we were 5 girls and 2 boys, but unfortunately one of them passed on. So we are 4 girls and 2 boys, and we thank God. And now after that, that is when after campus, now we came and met. And so we'll be giving you that story. But that's how it has been for me. Yes.
Right. I'll actually tell you to just continue. The flow was good. Just continue and tell us where you guys met and how you met with Matthew.
I like it when he's giving the story
Oh, okay.
of how we met. But I'll start and say that this time I can start. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
She doesn't want to say she's the one who looked for you.
Ha. Please tell us that part.
It's not me who looked for you. It was the way God designed it to be like, because it doesn't really sound very nice when you say it's me who looked for you. It was in the plan of God.
Doesn't sound bad. I accepted you.
Okay, this is what I would say, that our story is quite an interesting one. And it was on 14th of February, actually on a Valentine's Day. And then I was still a student in Desta, but finishing. Yeah? And I was doing my attachment in a place called Matu. And so I was coming to Nairobi every weekend, because when I went to Desta, actually, God had opened a door for me and I got a scholarship through the church I was fellowshipping with. So like it was an agreement with the pastor that over every weekend I need to be around, because I used to times once in a while I used to participate in worship team. I also used to lead. So it was an agreement that I need to be around over the weekends. So that was a weekend. It happened to be on a Saturday. And then I was coming from Matu to Nairobi. I was to meet a guy who we were friends, and he was just taking me out for that day. And there was nothing between us, actually. He was just a good friend. So he had called me, and so when I was traveling to Nairobi to come and meet him, my sister forwarded me an SMS. It was a Bible verse in the book of Philippians. And it says, whatever is good, whatever is of good report, blah, 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 you think about those things. And so I found it a nice verse and I started forwarding it. And I forwarded it to so many people. In the process of forwarding, of course, I was looking for friends. I found his name as I was scrolling. And I remembered, this brother, mind you, we had met with him in high school. He came to wind his Form 4 when I was, I think, in Form 3. And I was the chair leader of the CU. Then it happened like he was the only born-again boy in that school when he came. And but I wanted to say that by the time he was leaving that school, so many boys had given their lives to Christ. Yeah, so he was so influential. So that's where we met first in high school. And I think that was back in the year 2001, if I'm not wrong. So that's when we met with him the first time. So what I was saying is that then after we cleared and he cleared high school, of course he went to Moi University. But then when I was in Desta, I had heard of a story that the Matthew got sick. And the person who had told me about the story of him being sick, he was actually telling me, remember Matthew was born again, but somebody told me he is HIV positive and I don't know how he got to get HIV and he was born again. So it's a funny, ours is it's an interesting story. Yeah? So when I forwarded him the SMS, he told me he's unwell. So I was actually checking on him. So like there you would think this brother, and I was told he's unwell, blah, 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 let me check on him. So I forwarded him the message. And so he told me, thank you for the SMS. Unfortunately, I'm admitted in hospital. And you know what came into my mind was that story a friend had given me, that he was born again, but he got HIV. But I had never asked him of the story. So I wanted to really know whether it was true or not. So, and I am also, as I told you, I have dealt a lot with people living with HIV and AIDS and during that period. So I wanted to see him. And so I asked him, can I come and see you tomorrow? I'll be around Nairobi. So he said, it's okay, you are welcome. So I just wanted to go confirm and probably even pray for him. And probably get to know the story of how he got into it. But it was not that. So when we went, actually the following day was on a Sunday. So after church, after service, I took quite a number of friends. I think we were some 2 guys and some 2 ladies, me and another lady friend. So we went, he was admitted in St. Mary's Hospital in Rangata. And so when we went, I found him with a few colleagues he was working with. And he didn't look like he was positive when I saw him. So, but now, yes, when I saw him, he didn't look like that. So you saw, like in me, I started thinking probably it's just, people are good at rumors. But now the friends went and we were left with him and my friends. And we catched up kidogo, and then I left the hospital. Maybe he can give the other part as you continue. We will unfold the story.
Pick up.
Yes.
So you were left just the now 5 of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting. Maybe touching on that issue of HIV positive, and it's very interesting the way people hear what they want to hear. I was surprised to learn that my wife, we are miles apart, but whatever version of a story she got was that I was HIV positive. Of course, I wasn't. And this because I was, when I was in the university, I was sick around 2004. And of course, I was admitted in hospital for quite some time. Then, interestingly, there, those versions of HIV, I don't know where it came. Of course, the level of stigmatization, I think then was still a bit high. I remember actually when I got well, some time my sister organizes a meeting, a crusade somewhere, and puts my photo on the poster plus another lady. Now this lady had been healed from HIV. And of course myself, I had been healed from whatever I was suffering from. And the person who was given to make the posters, because they were done in my home area in the village, he interpreted to to himself that they must have this narration about healed from HIV must have been misplaced. It should have been under Matthew.
Boy.
So they switched the photos.
Okay.
So they wrote here, Matthew Mogo healed from HIV, and this other lady, I will not mention her name, healed by God's power, and then put it on the poster. When we are going for that mission, arriving the moment I saw the poster in town, wow. I'm like, poster with my photo and then healed from HIV. Anyway, we preached powerfully like people who had been healed from HIV. Very interesting. But anyway, what's wrong with being healed from HIV? I mean, you healed, but that's very interesting. So hearing that my wife had also gotten the same version, I mean, you see how information, goes very fast. But now coming back to the story, okay. She comes to see me, maybe taking you a little back. That morning when I got unwell, I was unwell the whole night. It was on a Saturday morning. I remember this is 2009, right? Yeah.
Sure.
2009. If you check your calendar, you will see Valentine's Day was on a Saturday. So the previous day, which was Friday, I just started feeling unwell. Then I went and, in fact, my boss recommended, because we were in a company event, then I was working with the microfinance. My boss recommended to one of my colleagues, the way Matthew, they had rushed me the same day to the hospital. I had very sharp pains, lower abdomen. So they rushed me to the hospital. I was given some drugs. Then the boss recommended that my colleague goes with me. I spend at his place. So I spent at his place in Kiambu. Then the whole night I was, in very too much pain. So this guy calls my boss and tells my boss, Matthew is, Vida Melala. We need to take him back to the hospital. So when my boss arrives with his car, I had very good guys, then he asks, I get into the car and then he asks my friend, have you packed some clothes for him just in case he gets admitted? It had not hit me that I would be admitted. And the thought that came into my mind, that when I heard him say that, it was like, if you get admitted in hospital, one of the people who will come to see you is your future wife.
Yeah.
Strange thought for a sick person. And I was in terrible pain. Of course, I started, of course, kukemea, you know. Shidwe hii mawazo baya inakuja, it should be healing. Should be thinking like a sick person, not like a... And I had really shelved the whole issue about, you know, love and whatever. You know, I had prayed for quite a while, like the previous year after leaving campus. I was actually feeling like I had wasted my opportunity in campus. I never mingled well enough. I was so close to so many ladies, and but I was never interested in the issues of relationship. Now I'm here. I've been praying, and nothing is coming. Then I had actually shelved that idea. I said, I'm not gonna pray about it anymore. Now this thought is coming, actually at the wrong time. Anyway, I brushed it. We went to hospital, and true to my boss's word, you know, the doctor said this guy needs to be admitted. The moment I was told that I will be admitted, the same thought again flashed. One of the people who will come to see you is your future wife. I'm like, Then shortly after is when she sent me a message. I'm like, wait a minute. You know, the same thought comes again. Then, of course, I replied, it was a Bible verse, as she said, and then I told her, by then, I'm admitted in hospital. We had never talked. This was 2009. The other time we had talked was back in 2006. So this was around 3 years. And it was the only other time we had talked since the time I left campus. I left high school in 2001. We weren't close. Yes, she was the CU cheerleader. I was new. We weren't close. So after that, everybody went their way. And then I went, you know, a teacher, one of our former teachers, the CU patron, then we met somewhere. He asked me, did you know that Margaret went to, you know, to Daystar University? I was like, oh, I didn't know. Do you have a number? Can I give you the number? Then he gave me. This is 2006. And then I called. And then I was excited to hear she is, and then that was all. Then the next time we talked. So 2001, then 2006. Then the next time we talk is when she sent me an SMS.
In
2009. Okay. Yeah, so I tell her I'm in the hospital. Then she's like, wow, where? Which hospital? Can I come? So I'm like, yeah, come tomorrow. So I went. I underwent an operation. It was a minor surgery. Then as I'm recuperating there, Sunday afternoon with the 5 guys that she was talking about, you know, the guys we were with my boss and other colleagues. Then she just comes with some 2 friends. Our eyes lock. Maybe what I didn't say is that when I woke up from coma, you know, this, you know,
the drug-induced.
The drug, yeah. The first thing that came into my mind was the same thought. This was like the 4th time.
Okay.
That one of the people will come to see me. So the following day, of course, she comes. You know, at the moment I see her, I was like, no, there's something special about this lady. I'm seeing her for the first time from 2001. This is around 8 years later. Yeah, and of course, the guys, of course, are looking at me. You know, my colleagues used to talk, and they knew I'm not in a relationship. Then there's one there who is telling me, Matthew, you know, vile mmeangaliana, you keep telling us there's nobody. Of course, I'm brushing that conversation, you know, and it's true, there was nothing. Of course, he was making those comments publicly. Actually, she could hear. Okay. Yeah, so, and then, you know, we just had our nice time. And then when it came to the time of going, everybody left. And of course, as quickly as the sickness came, it vanished immediately. I was discharged the following day.
Okay.
I think I was there on purpose.
Iyo ni Mungu. Surely.
Yeah, the following day the doctors were like, you guys go home, you're fine. Okay. And then of course I was given 2 weeks bed rest. So I went. Now she started talking, you know, frequently every day she's checking on me. In fact, she was the most frequent person. You know, every day she is busy. I think she knew something. But definitely I was like, you know, she needs to talk to me.
Yeah. Are you talking to her yourself, or she's the one who's always checking?
Well, we were talking. It's a conversation I really wanted. Remember, this has been, now I've started to accept that that voice must have been the voice of God. You know, that thought that I'm calling the thought. Yeah, and of course we kept talking, chatting, you know, encouraging here and there. Then the second week, yeah, so I rested the following weekend. I mean, after 1 week, the second week, she's like, I can't remember whether it is her or me, maybe it's most likely myself, who invited her to, you know, to come and visit.
Yeah.
Which she was very glad to come. So that weekend, or when she said she's coming, or we agreed she's coming, I was like, now here is my opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was reading a book by Joyce Meyer. What's the title?
In pursuit of peace.
In Pursuit of
Peace.
Purpose.
Peace.
Peace. In Pursuit of Peace.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. By Joyce Meyer.
Okay.
And one particular line that I got is that, because I was really praying, one of the things that I was really praying that time and even earlier, my biggest fear, of course by now the audience know I'm born again, has always been to do the, you know, to make the wrong decisions, especially where a decision that God is not involved. So I was really praying on matters of relationship. I don't want to make a mistake. You know, I've kept myself, I've tried the best to live as a, you know, a straight youth. I can't make a mistake when it comes to marriage. So really, I am feeling strongly she's the one and I need to make a move. But on the other hand, the fear of making a mistake. Yeah. So I prayed quite a bit. And then as I'm reading the book, I found a line Joyce Meyer was saying, so many people, believers, fail to make decisions because they are fearing, you know, they are fearing they might make a mistake. And then she was like, come on, why do you want to be God? It's only God who doesn't make mistakes.
Oh, okay.
Make a decision, take a step. If you, in the process, discover that you've made, you know, a mistake, then just tell God, well, I thought I was doing the right thing. Of course, the intention was not to do the wrong thing. Yes. If it's outrightly in the best interest, then I mean, just come back to God and tell Him, you know, in my fallible nature, I made a mistake. I was like, wow. And then, of course, she gave the example of Paul. You know how many places that, even some cities that Paul decided to go preach and God is telling him, no, don't go there. The intention is good, but God is like, no, don't go there, go this other direction. So I'm like, wow. You know, I felt like Joyce Meyer is telling me, propose.
Okay.
I tell you, I was so ready. And I did not want to waste time. I was like, I will, you know, mbaya kama mbaya.
Mbaya.
I proposed today on the first meet, and basically it is technically the first one, really, or the second from the hospital. I proposed kama it is working, it works. If it's not working, nijue mapema, badala I invest my feelings into a thing that doesn't work. And I can tell you, as mad as it looks, I proposed that day.
2 weeks later.
Oh yeah, when she came, you know, I you know, God gives you wisdom. Okay. I arranged I knew, of course, photos. Those days, unlike today when they are digital, we were flipping using albums. Yeah. So I arranged my album very nicely. And towards the end, the last page, I put the photos of 4 different ladies. You know, they had 2 pages, you know, two on each side. So I put 4 different ladies. It was deliberate. Okay. I wanted to see her reaction. So of course she comes, we do the coffee and whatever we were doing. My brother had visited the same day. I'm wondering, this one, what is he doing around? I should be alone. Of course he's visited me because I'm sick. But I'm like, okay, let me, so I just, of course I had to tell him, and I have a visitor who is coming. So of course he's a bright guy. He knew ilipofika mahali pengine nikampanga akaenda. So tukaachwa hapo peke yetu. So when she finished watching, you know, looking at the photos, when she came to the last page, she really looked at these ladies. Angalia huyu. She spent quite a bit of time there, which was expected. I really wanted to see. It was a setup. I wanted to see her reaction, whether she would be interested. She took ana flip, anaangalia. Then akaflip, you know, she gave me back the album. Then I asked her, you know, I've seen you look at those ladies quite a bit. I thought you would ask me who is my fiancé. She's like, wow, I wanted to ask you. It's only that now that you can tell me. I told her I will not tell you. First, tell me about yourself. Are you in a relationship?
Okay.
I knew I've caught her.
Attention.
Yeah, and of course she gave me the story. You know, I was in this relationship. It didn't work, and I just wanted to hear. Now, what about now? And of course, the answer was that she's not in one. She's trusting God. I'm like, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm like, now, do you want to know about me? She's like, yeah, tell me. I'm excited. I'll be happy to know. So I told her, yeah, I'm not in one. Actually, I haven't been in one before. Yeah, but I want to start one with you.
Okay.
That's how I proposed. Yeah, maybe she can tell about the reaction.
Before she even tells us about the reaction, you had never been in a relationship before, Maggie?
I had never been in one. Well, I tried once. And maybe the when I, campus, I concentrated on books.
Yes.
But towards the end, the last semester, for the first time in my life, I started now feeling like I'm getting attracted to matters relationship. Yeah, and of course, there's this lady I spotted, and I really prayed about it. No, it was not. It was actually the last year. I think I prayed for almost 6 months, and I was praying, God, tell me it is not her. Because I don't want to make a mistake. She can't be the one telling me that I've made a mistake.
Okay.
Because God, I pray to you and you listen to me. Just tell me. I am listening. If you tell me it's a no, I will not even make any attempt. After 6 months of prayer, that's one of the things that now, of course, I've come to understand God better. After 6 months of praying, God said nothing. So, of course, I feel for myself that he must be saying it's okay. I can move on. And she told me she's in a relationship. I didn't believe it. I'm like, God, after 6 months of talking to you and telling you I don't want it to come from her, I want you to tell me, use other means, but let it not be her. Can you imagine she's the one who told me? Well, I was offended and broken-hearted by God. No, not her. Actually, I had no issue with her, but God, surely.
Why?
I thought we were friends. Why embarrass me? But anyway, thinking of it later, if it had worked the way I had wanted it, I think hakuna mtu ningekuwa nikinyamazisha watu kila huku nawaambianga muombangi ndio maana muna making hizi my relationship mistakes. Yeah, at least God taught me that even when you are so sure you might be you are thinking you are in the right direction, you may have missed a step. And anyway, going back to what it's only God who is infallible. I'm a man, I might be fallible. Sure. Anyway, as soon as I proposed, I got my answer that or I made a move basically. I got my answer that I'm in a relationship, and of course trying a few weeks later I discovered she is serious, she is in one, and I dropped it. So technically speaking, yes, I had made an attempt, it didn't work, so I had not been in a relationship actually. It was the first one.
Okay. Maggie, 2 weeks. You've seen him after high school. 2 weeks, and he's asking you to be in a relationship with him. By then, did he ask for a date, a girlfriend, or a wife? What was his intentions towards you?
Okay, I would say that to begin with, it was not an expectation for me. However much I had tried to really check out on him. Remember, as I told you, I was really working with sick people at that particular time. So I think it was my nature to keep on checking on people. How are you doing? How are you today? And so I really wanted to know how he was doing. Remember that story I gave you about HIV? Remember in hospital we never discussed.
Yes.
And so I wanted also to create a room that one day I will ask him about that question, so that I hear from the horse's mouth. And so when I went there and he's proposing to me, I think he actually never did it there. But I would say that when he was escorting me to go to the bus stop, that's where he asked me if we could go in a hotel there around and we take some tea. And I thought, but we took tea in your place. so what do you want? And I had a meeting I was rushing to. We had a far drive for the less fortunate kids in church that afternoon. So I was in a hurry, I really wanted to go. But then within me, I told myself, let me just stick around and hear from him. Because I had also started sensing. So I said, let me stick around and hear. So when he proposed, I was like, actually by that time, personally, I was not really ready for a relationship. Remember, as he mentioned, I told him I had one previously that never worked. And I think I was from a broken relationship that had broken the previous year. I think around mid previous year, that was 2008. And so I was like, I am not ready to get into an immediately. However, I was also trusting God that maybe this second time, if God gives me another chance with another man, God, I pray that it really works. Because if it doesn't work now the second time, I think I would also have been gotten offended by God. But when he proposed, I was in shock a bit. I didn't know how to behave, how to react. Because I'm like, seriously, we just met twice. You don't know me. The last time you saw me was many years ago. So you don't know how I've lived my life. But you're risking to propose. And I also don't know him. As much as he gave me the story in the house about those ladies. Actually, hakuniambia sana. He never told me a lot about the relationship. And yeah, he told me he had tried to propose, but it never worked in the house. But I was like, but I don't know how you have lived your life. But anyway, I told him to give me time. I go pray about it and think about it. And I thank God, I think throughout my life, I think I've had spiritual people who have been surrounding me. And sometimes I consult a lot. And so I have a mentor mom. I think a spiritual mom. She's been a friend since I came to Nairobi. That was back in 2005. And she knew quite a lot about my life. Everything I used to share every detail with her. And she used to pray with me because I used to live in her house. I had lived in her house for quite some time with the daughters and the family. To date, I'm even part of the family of that family. In such a way that even when they have events, they will invite us both with our children, like that. So I went and told Mom, there's this guy who has just proposed, and we meet for the second time after so many years. But we were with him in high school. So I told her, I want you to help me to pray about it. And so she started questioning me about that guy. Tell me what kind of a guy is he? So I narrated the story. And so she told me, you know what, we'll pray about it. And I know God will answer. And I know what you've been going through because I had even previously brought the other guy to her. So like she knew my life. And she knew how heartbroken I was that period. And she really used to encourage me, pray with me and all that. So, and we started praying. And she told me I need to take some few days to pray and fast. So, and as I continued praying, I started feeling like feeling attracted to him. Remember the first day I met him in hospital, despite the fact that I was told that he was sick, there was that feeling of like I've gotten attracted to him, you know. Yes, there was that, but I brushed it off because, you see, that was not my intention when I was going to the hospital. And then a guy you've not met for quite some while, he must have been in a relationship. But I answered myself and said, after we had some conversations, when I was leaving the hospital, I said within me, Lucky must have been the girl who got him. In me, remember I thought probably he's in a relationship. And that was it. So even when I was checking on him, I knew probably he's relating, but I just wanted to hear his story about that other part I had given. So I prayed about it, and I think I started warming up even before I gave him an answer. Like he always tells me that he knew it would be a yes even before we went.
Yeah, the second day, I already knew it's a yes.
Okay.
You're just wasting time.
Are you sure it was the second day?
Yeah, there are some texts that she was sending me, so I could tell,
like
could read between the lines.
Anyway, it took, I think, a few weeks. I told him, I think, 3 weeks. So by the end of that month, I think we met, and I told him it's okay, we can give it a try. And thank God, God has been faithful to us. I think He walked us through that journey of relationship. And I think if there's a period I ever prayed about my marriage, about that relationship, I think it's that period we were dating, or we were courting. But at some point, I would also mention and say, there's a point I got to, and I started feeling like I made a decision very fast.
Within the courtship time?
Yes. I started feeling like I made a decision very fast. And it's something I had observed in him. Like I had observed, like when we decide we are meeting, and you know the way ladies would get late. Times I get late, na realize amekasirika or something. So I started saying, hey, I think God, I didn't want to get married to a person who catches feelings very fast. Feelings very fast. And so I started withdrawing slowly, pole pole tu. And I remember one day him starting to call me, and I started telling him, like he used to make very long calls. I started telling him over the phone calls, namwambia, you know, my ears are getting very hot. In short, I'm telling him, your call is very long.
Yeah.
You should cut your stories and you give me a break. So, and I think I just got to a place, and I went mute. Around that time, I think I didn't share with my spiritual mom, but nilidecide tu peke yangu, nikajiambia, ama pia mama alini insight sana. Because by the time we were praying with her, alianza kuniuliza several questions, and then she started telling me she's feeling like she is at peace with him. Even if he... Okay, I had brought him home.
Okay.
Waongee. So, but she started telling me she's starting to feel like she's at peace with him. Compared to any other guy I had brought to her. So, like, I think he was the third person I ever brought to that home. But the second guy I brought, there was nothing per se. Nilimwambia tu twende tukatembee kwenye naishi, and that was it. So akaniambia she's feeling like she's at peace with him. So that allowed that period I was feeling like maybe it was influential, my decision was influential, and I had not given him time to know him. You know the way you give each other time, you have not met for long. So maybe if you were friends, like the way you would be friends with someone, like in campus, I had so many guy friends. Maybe I would have realized in the course of relating with him, like he catches the feelings very fast. So I went mute, and I never told him that it's a goodbye or anything. I just switched off on him. I couldn't pick up his calls, and I told him, I'm not at peace in this relationship. Just give me a break. And that was it. So he started calling me, come, we meet, we discuss. I want to know what happened. Have I hurt you or anything? Namwambia, no, nothing. I'm just feeling I'm not at peace with you. Just give me a break. And so by the way we parted during that courtship, I think we parted for like a period of almost 6 months. Yes, that was part of the second part of the year 2009. So we were not together, and I took a break to be myself. I think the break I wanted, now that I had broken from the other relationship. Now that time I was myself. I felt like there's nothing that is influencing me. Yeah? But I got to a point towards the end of the year, and I started feeling like there was nobody now coming around me. Remember, by the time he was proposing to me, I think I had a lineup of guys.
Yeah.
I think I had like 5 guys in mind. And remember, as I gave the story, I said I was in a mat and I was coming to meet a guy who was taking me for a date. That guy was also interested in me. And by all standard, I would know, because he would really hint and he would even speak it out. So, but by the time I made a decision that it was him, I dropped all the others. And that period of 6 months, nobody came my way. But I had a good time to really pray about it. And when I was praying, I remember one day, like, God started reminding me of how I pushed him away. So, and like he started showing me, it's me who brought him your way, but you pushed him away. That's why there's nobody in your life, around your life. So, like he was telling me, you need to find a way of going back. So, our story is always interesting. So, I actually can't remember. I think he happened to call. He got sick. I remember now. He got sick again. And he got admitted again. And he had a great friend.
Something about sickness and hospital and our relationship.
Like she said, she loves sick people.
Yeah, maybe I needed to be sick to get her into her heart.
Sure. So he got admitted again in Nairobi Hospital, and his friend, he has a friend called Timothy. Nowadays is in Ethiopia. So Timothy called me. It's actually Timothy who called me, and he told me, Maggie, Matthew has been sick, because Timothy used to follow me up for him when we parted ways. He tell me, what happened between you and Matthew? And I used to tell him, there is nothing. I'm not at peace. Please don't tell me about that guy anymore. So this time again, Timothy calls me and he asked me, do you know that Matthew is admitted in hospital? I told him, I have no idea. So he told me, Maggie, just as a friend, I am just making a kind request. If you can come, we go and see Matthew in hospital. Mm-hmm. And I told Timothy, no, I'm not interested. And so he started begging me on the phone. He told me, no, you don't do like that. I'm not telling you to go and reconcile, but I want you to just go and see him. So akaniambia, a friend is always a friend, even if there is nothing between both of you. So akaniambia, if you want me to accompany you, I will. We can agree we meet at Kencom and then we go to Nairobi Hospital. Around that period, I think I had graduated. So when I was returning my gown to Daystar University, it's around Nairobi Hospital, the same area. So I told Timothy, it's okay, I'll go around, because I didn't want him to accompany me so that he doesn't influence his decision. He influenced me towards going back to him. So I went and I met him with a couple of friends. Several of them I knew them, so I didn't want a conversation around our relationship, because I guess they knew about us. So I think I didn't even stay even for 5 minutes. I went, I said hi, and I prayed for him. So I prayed for him and I left the hospital, and then I called Timothy. I told him I have gone and I've seen him and I prayed for him. At least I've accomplished your purpose. Yes. And I went back. So I think the day he was getting discharged, we started talking. The day he was getting discharged, he told me he was getting discharged, but he would want me to go. So I went. So that day I said, let me just go. So, but I think he had intentions of asking me why I left. So we went, discussed, and here we are. Yeah.
You didn't get sick again, please. Niambie, for now the wedding, do you get sick? Because now this relationship and sickness.
And sickness and hospitals. No. Not again. Yeah, but yeah. So I was dumped.
Allow me to ask you, Matthew.
Yes.
Why were you pursuing her so much? Were you that sure she's the one? Yet, honestly, ni madharau. Hakuna kama madharau fulani hapa kwenda tu mute. Why were you so, persuasive?
Well, maybe I think God wanted me to experience heartbreak or something, because it was real. Those 6 months, especially, there was really, apart from now, she's saying, or later she was saying, I'm getting angry that she's getting late and such kind of things. Of course, she never told me that time. But she was just telling me, no, I just want to have my time. My ear is getting hot, it started there. Then she doesn't want to, to talk to me. I can't tell, hatujakosana. Timothy, when he learned that, this has happened, he was so close to us. And Timothy would never believe that it's her who has dumped me. He was telling Matthew, there must be something you did. You are not telling me the truth. Enda muulize ukuje uniambie, because even me, I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking that the only thing is that I was so, when I got into a relationship, I got into it with both legs.
Okay.
For her, I think she had left one leg behind. Because I used to, for me, anywhere we go, I introduce her, my fiancée, happily. I mean, I was so excited. It was my first relationship, first and only. So, for her, she is like, unani introduce sana. So those are some of the things that I think that's the time that she started now maybe having that internal battle and whatever. So that's the only thing I could tell, that I'm so excited and she's a bit uncomfortable. So I pursued her really, because when she started now avoiding me, I really begged almost to my knees to just have a meeting to break it up officially, and niambie sasa ni hivi. I couldn't imagine it's happening, and especially remembering how it started. I thought I had God on this one. Yeah, so of course after begging for too long, she accepted again in hospital. This day when we are coming now to break, we started in hospital, but we break in hospital. Okay. We met in this time it's not me who was sick, it's her in Nairobi hospital. I don't know, she was having something, so akaniambia, I'll be in Nairobi hospital this morning. You can come, at this hour. So I went. We had in the cafeteria there. We met. We had some chat.
It's not you who was getting discharged?
No.
I can't remember.
No, this is, I'm talking of the breaking, not the coming back together.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, during the breaking, it is still in Nairobi hospital where we met. And now that's where she gave me, sijui, I did not want, the reasons I was given, the ones I can remember, was that, not the issues of being, I was told that, mimi, sikuwa nataka kuolewa na mtu anakuwa pastor. Mimi naona vile unaelekea utakuwa pastor.
Okay.
Me, I don't want to get married to a pastor. That's the only substantive one I can remember. The rest are hizi zingine za kuongeza maua tu, but
the previous relationship, let me interact kidogo, sorry. I think the previous relationship was, I was in a relationship with a pastor and I didn't like how we broke. So I had no intentions at all to get married
to another pastor.
Okay.
Yeah, so mimi niliambiwa nakataliwa juu nakaa ni kama niko na tabia zinaweza kuenda hivi nikuwe pastor.
Na hataki kuwa first lady.
Yes, and of course it's coming several months into a relationship. It's not a new discovery. It's not a, really, and I noticed she was serious. And anyway, it had been weeks of begging to meet. So I accepted. I said, well, this is the truth. This is as it is. And I told God, just give me, the ability kuvumilia. Hey, it was a season. But anyway, I continued healing. But I can tell you, I switched off completely. From that moment, I never followed her again. I never talked to her again because she was so clear. I never, basically for that 6 months period, never. I was just healing my wounds. I never even wanted to ever think about a relationship again, whether with her or anybody else. I'm like, now, God, surely. This is now this. I thought the other one was really a failure. What about this one now? Surely. Yeah. So yeah. Now even when I get sick, it never even hit me that I should tell her. We don't talk.
Yes.
Yeah. So Timothy, I was surprised to see her. I was like, who is this? So I was learning later that it's actually Timothy who pulled the strings until she came. So when she came, not many words, as she said, 5 minutes, she left. And then I never followed. It's her now who started talking to me later. Now, how are you feeling? Following up with me. Of course, I respond. Yeah. I started warming up. Then, of course, at the time of discharge, she was there. We got discharged, and then she was like, I'm like, okay, it seems like you are coming back. Are you back? Then she's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, no. We had a lengthy conversation. Then I'm like, now these are the irreducible minimums. Pastor, if I'm becoming a pastor or not. I mean, I hope you are now ready to take me as I am.
Yes.
Yeah, so I told her I'm not changing who I am. Of course, I'm not a pastor even today. But my persuasions and convictions, they're not going to change. and so many other things that I said. The issues to do with the wedding. This time is me who was dictating.
Okay.
If this is going to happen, this will be the condition. This wedding happens around this time. This time when we were in terms, we had already agreed around the issues of wedding, and that time is how who was dictating. She was the one who was saying, if in fact one condition of being told yes, I was told. If it's yes, this is 2009, around February, March, I was told that if it's gonna be yes, then the condition will be that the wedding must be
2010.
in 2010.
Okay.
That came as a shock. For me, in my head, I was ready to get married in 2013. Because I'm like, now I've just gotten into a relationship for the first time. I need now some time, 4 years. And for her, she is saying it's next year. Well, because sitaki kukataliwa na nimeambiwa hiyo ndio condition nipate yes. I took a deep breath nikasema yes. But now convincing myself I'm getting married next year. That time I was small, tiny, both body-wise, pocket-wise, and in every respect, age-wise. I'm not imagining I'm getting married next year. But anyway, I had adjusted. So now telling me the things, now I said, wedding date is not changing, ABCD is not changing, so I dictated what will happen. Of course, she was happy with the terms, and she said, let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Matthew, now that you have taken charge of the relationship, the courtship, you will be telling us if this wedding happened in 2010 or 2013. Viewers, that is the end of part 1. Next week on part 2, we will get to hear their love journey as they tell us how life has been after the wedding, their challenges, and how they have managed to make this marriage thrive after that many years. This is the Marriage Corner Show, and I'm your host, Viona Gethinji.